On the African savanna, the honey badger lives among predators that are far larger, faster, and stronger than itself. Every foraging expedition can bring this small creature face to face with a new and distinct danger. What then sets the honey badger apart? And how does it manage to survive in a wild world where a single mistake can come at a heavy price? Primarily inhabiting the grasslands, savannas, open woodlands, and semi-deserts of Africa, the honey badger is a small-sized carnivore renowned for its fearlessness, endurance, and remarkable adaptability. Its low-slung, sturdy build, powerful claws, and thick, relatively loose skin provide distinct advantages when digging, defending itself, or engaging in close-quarters combat. Rapid reflexes and agile maneuverability also enable the honey badger to react effectively to sudden, dangerous situations. What sets the honey badger apart is not merely its audacity, but also its adaptability and knack for seizing opportunities. These animals possess a diverse diet, react fiercely when threatened, and are capable of surviving in a wide range of harsh environments. It is this combination of strength, stamina, and tenacity that has earned the species its unique reputation. In East and Southern Africa, spotted hyenas are commonly found in savannas, grasslands, and open woodlands where prey is abundant. They live in clans with complex social structures, are primarily nocturnal, and readily feed on both fresh kills and carrion. During a foraging expedition, a hyena ventured dangerously close to a honey badger's den. At that moment, only the young were inside the den. The hyena began digging vigorously around the entrance and tried to force its head inside to reach them, but the mother honey badger suddenly returned and immediately charged to intercept the intruder. The hyena bit, dragged, and flung its opponent aside, yet each time it was knocked back, the honey badger would rise, counterattack, and quickly return to block the entrance. The struggle persisted until both animals began to tire. Although the hyena held a size advantage, every attempt to close in was met with the honey badger's fierce resistance. Ultimately, the risk of injury and the depletion of energy forced the hyena to give up. In the wild, raw strength is not the only factor determining the outcome. Endurance, defensive capability, and a mother's ferocity can compel a larger adversary to reconsider its choice. Snakes are widely distributed across the globe, inhabiting environments ranging from savannas, grasslands, and woodlands to forests, deserts, mountains, and swamps. Most are solitary creatures that use their forked tongues to collect scent molecules, transferring them to the Jacobson's organ in the mouth to detect prey and sense their surroundings. However, this sensory input is not always sufficient to detect a predator stealthily closing in. driven by high energy demands, the honey badger spends much of its time foraging, tracking scents, and digging into the burrows where snakes might be hiding. When a snake strikes back, the honey badger instantly shifts direction, closes the distance, and uses its claws and powerful jaws to seize the upper hand. Even a venomous bite does not necessarily end the hunt. In some instances, venom may temporarily weaken or immobilize the honey badger, but its resilience to the toxin gives it a chance to recover. Once back on its feet, the honey badger can return to its prey and finish the meal. A perilous confrontation concludes with the vital nourishment needed for survival. As light washes over the vast grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, the lion remains one of the most formidable predators of the savanna, grasslands, and open woodlands. Male lions are distinguished by the manes encircling their heads and necks, as well as powerful forelimbs, claws, and fangs, adapted for gripping prey. They live in prides. Lionesses handle the majority of the hunting, while males play a crucial role in defending the territory and the pride. Yet, in this instance, what catches a lion's attention is a much smaller creature, the honey badger. As the lion closes in, the honey badger does not easily yield. It constantly changes direction, turns to face its adversary, and issues fierce defensive signals. The gap narrows, and at this moment, size is no longer the sole factor determining the outcome. Despite its diminutive stature, weighing only between 5 and 16 kilograms, the honey badger compensates with stamina, tenacity, and a ferocious defensive response. Its thick, tough, and loose skin allows it to maneuver even when held, making the continued confrontation potentially not worth the effort for the lion. Ultimately, the lion backs off, and the honey badger escapes, demonstrating that in nature, victory does not always belong to the strongest, but sometimes to the most tenacious. In the African savanna, the oryx is well adapted to dry grasslands and areas with limited water sources, typically living in herds and feeding on grass and leaves. Its most striking feature is a pair of long, straight, pointed horns, reaching nearly 4 feet in some species, which serve as weapons against danger. A diminutive honey badger boldly approaches, forcing the oryx to turn and face it. The oryx's horns immediately come into play, tossing the honey badger into the air and knocking it to the ground. Yet, moments later, the small creature rises again to continue the confrontation. Despite being vastly outsized by the oryx, the honey badger relies on stamina and tenacity to hold its ground until the oryx eventually retreats. While the oryx demonstrates the value of size and horns in self-defense, the honey badger reveals a different strategy: how endurance and a resolute response can enable a small animal to overcome a threat many times its size. A single bee poses little threat to a large animal, but the situation changes drastically when an entire colony reacts. In the savannas and open woodlands of sub-Saharan Africa, a honeybee colony can number in the tens of thousands. When the hive is breached, hundreds of worker bees may swarm out, using their stingers and venom to defend it. The scent of the hive draws the honey badger in. As it begins to tear into the nest, the bees immediately surround it and sting repeatedly, though the badger's thick skin and fur help mitigate the impact. The pressure mounts by the second, yet the honey badger pushes deeper, aiming for the honey, larvae, and pupae inside. After repeated efforts, the honey badger breaches the hive to access the nutrient-rich honey and beeswax. Although hundreds of bees swarm and repeatedly sting it, its thick skin and fur significantly mitigate the impact, allowing it to continue feeding before moving on. This foraging behavior demonstrates how, in the wild, resilience and adaptability enable one species to overcome another's defenses and secure vital sustenance. Along the rivers, lakes, and swamps of Africa, the Nile crocodile is a patient ambush predator, often keeping its body almost entirely submerged before suddenly closing in on its prey. Its immensely powerful jaws, massive teeth, and strong tail allow it to subdue animals that venture too close to the water's edge. However, on land, the mother crocodile finds herself in a different situation. Right beside her lies a clutch of eggs that must remain intact until they hatch. Upon discovering the nest, the honey badger slowly attempts to move in. The mother crocodile does not engage in a violent struggle right next to the nest. Instead, she holds her ground, turning to face the honey badger and issuing repeated threats to prevent her rival from reaching the eggs. The honey badger tries to edge closer, but every advance is met with the mother's vigilant defense. Ultimately, the honey badger abandons the nest and retreats, leaving the mother crocodile to successfully protect her clutch. For the honey badger, knowing when to stop in the face of a dangerous adversary helps avoid injury and allows it to continue its foraging journey. For the mother crocodile, keeping the eggs intact means preserving the survival chances of the next generation. In the wild, survival requires not only strength and tenacity, but also the wisdom to know when to advance and when to hold back. In the forests and savannas of Africa, the leopard is primarily a solitary creature, moving silently through its territory. Males possess impressive physiques and exceptional climbing skills, capable of reaching speeds of around 35 to 36 miles per hour in short bursts. However, the leopard's true strength lies in its ambush capabilities. It often conceals itself and stalks quietly before suddenly accelerating to strike, leaving its prey with little time to react. On the open savanna, a honey badger spots a lone leopard and actively approaches, repeatedly provoking it. As the gap closes, the honey badger stands its ground rather than retreating, and the two clash. The leopard leverages its speed and power, while the honey badger relies on sheer tenacity, disrupting its opponent's attack rhythm. After just a few moments of confrontation, the leopard ceases its advance and is forced to retreat. The honey badger is not physically stronger than its adversary, but its persistence and ability to handle pressure allow it to prevail. In the wild, raw power creates an advantage, but the ability to react effectively and maintain a strong defense can ultimately determine the outcome. It is neither sheer size nor brute strength that defines the honey badger's journey, but rather how it strategically leverages its advantages to forage, defend itself, and overcome danger. These encounters reveal that every species possesses its own unique weapons and strategies for survival. Ultimately, nature imparts a clear lesson. To survive, one need not win every confrontation, but one must know how to adapt to the challenge at hand. In open areas where visibility extends to the horizon, these predators don't rely on brute force, but attack with coordinated and relentless pressure. Every movement of the prey is tracked, forced to change direction, and gradually loses its reaction rhythm. When the chase begins, the distance doesn't disappear immediately, but is eroded over time, and the outcome is decided before the prey can regain the initiative. African wild dogs live primarily in savanna grasslands, sparse shrublands, and large open forests in East and South Africa. They prefer open terrain where they can observe prey from a distance and organize prolonged chases. Packs often move across vast territories in search of food, water, and to avoid competition from lions or hyenas. Despite their relatively small size, wild dogs are among Africa's most effective hunters thanks to their ability to work together in packs. They possess exceptional stamina, maintaining high speeds for extended periods to exhaust their prey. When hunting, the entire pack constantly changes positions, surrounding and cutting off the target's escape route. Discipline, teamwork, and strategy are the most powerful weapons of this predatory species. Along the savannas and open woodlands of Africa, leopards live in environments with abundant large trees that provide ample climbing and hiding places. Their ability to drag prey to high altitudes helps them avoid having their food stolen, and also gives them a distinct advantage when facing other predators on the ground, thus requiring caution from any approaching animal. At the edge of the forest, a pack of wild dogs spotted a leopard moving alone and quickly dispersed. Instead of directly approaching, they veered off course, maintaining distance and increasing pressure from multiple directions. As its movement became unstable, short approaches ensued, constantly disrupting its turning trajectory. As tension escalated, the leopard tried to hold its position but quickly lost ground to the relentless pursuit of the pack. Cornered, it was forced to climb a tree to escape. Below, the pack continued its coordinated encirclement, demonstrating the strength of a well-coordinated group. Endurance is what allows oryx to survive in the harsh desert and semi-desert regions where many other species cannot thrive. They move across the hot sand with their long horns as a defensive weapon. Therefore, any approach quickly turns into a tense confrontation. On the open sand, the pack of wild dogs didn't charge directly but kept their distance, constantly monitoring the oryx's reaction from every angle. They shifted positions and maneuvered continuously to force it to turn defensively. When its movement slowed, short, close-range attacks occurred, putting the prey on the defensive. Under the heat and the long run, the oryx's stamina gradually diminished. It turned to fight back but could no longer maintain its safety. When its reflexes clearly deteriorated, the subdued animal was subdued, and the hunter gained the upper hand. In this harsh environment, maintaining pressure over time was the decisive factor. When foraging close to the ground in the open sub-Saharan forests, warthog always keep their heads low, but observe a wide area, using bushes for cover. Their curved tusks and quick head-turning reflexes are their primary defenses, and moving in open spaces forces them to constantly adjust their direction when approached. At the edge of the grassland, the pack of wild dogs maintained a steady rhythm, observing the warthog's reaction step by step. Instead of charging straight, they constantly changed direction to disrupt it. As soon as the prey's turning speed slowed, short, cyclical approaches occurred, forcing the warthog into a defensive position. Immediately, the warthog turned to counterattack in an attempt to maintain distance, but gradually lost ground to the pack's relentless pursuit. As space narrowed and strength diminished, control of the confrontation shifted to the pursuer, thanks to their coordination and ability to maintain pressure over time. In the Serengeti, wildebeest migrate seasonally during the monsoon season, forming massive migration streams across the open steppes. They prefer short grasses and wide visibility for detecting danger, avoiding dense forests because they hinder acceleration. Therefore, when their density is high, even a small deviation is enough to create gaps in the protective structure. On the grassland, along the edge of the herd, a pack of wild dogs deploys along a long axis, maintaining a steady rhythm to read the direction of the entire antelope herd's turn. They don't approach directly, but constantly cut corners, forcing the target group to change direction. When a young animal breaks away, the pack accelerates, attacking its weak point and dragging it out of the protective circle. The young animal left behind forces the herd to disperse to protect it. The predators take advantage of this vulnerability, relentlessly pursuing and gradually exhausting the prey. When the connection is broken and an opportunity arises, the advantage shifts to the side that is actively controlling the situation. Along the transitional zone between savanna and open woodland in East and Southern Africa, impalas are abundant in Kenya, Mozambique, and South Africa. They prefer acacia-covered areas for foraging in the mornings, and then move to open pastures in the evenings. Thus, leaving the shade of trees creates brief, easily tracked moments. On the savanna, a pack of wild dogs spreads out, maintaining distance and reading the target's reaction. Instead of charging straight ahead, they regulate their pace, gradually forcing their movement toward the water's edge. When enough pressure has built up, the entire pack accelerates simultaneously, blocking escape routes and forcing the prey to flee in a confined space. When cornered at the river's edge, the impala hesitates before plunging into the water to widen the distance. At this point, the pack opens an arc. Some enter the water to apply pressure, while the rest block on either side. When the prey's strength wanes, a hold is formed, the combined force causing the target to lose control and fall from its advantageous position. With this hunting style, the difference lies in the coordination and endurance of the entire pack. Once the pace of movement is worn down and escape routes close, the outcome is sealed where the prey has no way to retreat. In the African savannas, lions thrive in vast spaces with excellent eyesight and abundant prey. A single individual is dangerous enough, but when in a pride, their ability to coordinate and dominate territory makes them formidable opponents. Amidst the low grass, the pack of wild dogs didn't retreat upon encountering the lion. Instead, they dispersed in multiple directions, maintaining distance and observing its reaction. Instead of directly closing in, they moved in an arc, applying pressure from various angles. At the moment, their opponent lost momentum. Short, quick approaches were launched, forcing the lion's direction of movement to constantly change. When put at a disadvantage, the lion snarled and tried to find an escape route, but couldn't maintain the advantage under prolonged pressure. The pack of dogs alternated in advancing and retreating, narrowing the area of operation. When options were limited, the lion was forced to leave the area to avoid further risk. In this type of encounter, the difference doesn't come from individual strength, but from the ability to sustain pressure over time. When space is fragmented and reactions are skewed, the tide quickly turns in favor of the side controlling the pace. In the quiet stillness of the savanna, where every movement can be detected from afar, not every lion's hunt ends as planned. A slight deviation in distance or a timely reaction from the prey can cause the advantage to be lost in a matter of seconds, and the initiative quickly shifts. When pursuits that seemed under control repeatedly fail, what truly determines the line between success and giving up? Along the Serengeti grasslands, herds of wildebeest move in a line, maintaining distance to observe their surroundings. Each wildebeest weighs approximately 400 to 600 pounds and maintains a steady pace within the group. The pace slows at a point in the line, causing a gap to open up, thus drawing attention from outsiders. As the gap widens, two young lions, positioned low, approach after a period of observation. They don't move continuously, but stop in short bursts to minimize detection. When close enough, they press from both sides, forcing the wildebeest to constantly change direction, further reducing the distance. While the distance is being squeezed, the reaction is quick. The wildebeest turns and uses its horns to maintain the gap, creating short stretches. However, the pace is no longer consistent. At one point, the horns hooked onto the front leg of one lion and pulled it off balance. Shortly afterward, the situation reversed. The other lion slowed down and did not continue to press. A gap opened up, allowing the antelope to break free from the forced direction and return to the herd. Once the distance was maintained, both lions stopped and did not pursue further. In the vast savannas of East and Southern Africa, African wild dogs operate in packs with a highly coordinated instinct. Each individual maintains a flexible distance and constantly adjusts their position to the movements of their pack. When danger is detected, they don't separate but strengthen their bond, so the surrounding space quickly becomes inaccessible. At a waterhole, a lioness appears and stops out of sight to observe. She remains silent while the pack of wild dogs gradually closes in, thus continuously compressing the distance between them. At the right moment, the lioness suddenly lunges and catches one individual, momentarily disrupting the formation. Immediately after that approach, the pack of wild dogs reacts in unison. They close in from multiple directions, constantly moving and applying pressure, preventing the lioness from maintaining a stable position. Under increasing pressure, the lions had to release their target and retreat, thereby reopening the distance and freeing the captured individual. Once the distance was re-established, the pack of wild dogs maintained their formation and continued moving. The lions then stopped and ceased pursuit, thus maintaining the advantage for the pack through continuous coordination. On the open grasslands of Africa, zebras maintain distance and always move in groups to reduce the risk of being approached. Their instincts rely on coordination and the ability to quickly turn their heads when needed to protect their pack. When a zebra fawn is separated from the group, the distance between mother and fawn changes, creating a temporary vulnerability. When that distance narrows, a lioness holds her position and waits for the right moment before pouncing. She approaches quickly and gains control of the fawn in an instant, creating an initial advantage. Immediately afterward, the mother turns around, closing in directly and repeatedly delivering kicks from behind, forcing the lioness to constantly change position. As the pressure increases, the lioness cannot maintain a safe distance from the continuous counterattacks. She is forced to release her fawn and retreat to avoid injury. With the space cleared, the mother zebra quickly led her foal away from the area, while the lion stopped and did not pursue further. In the arid lands of South and East Africa, oryx maintain a clear distance between individuals to preserve their vision. Each weighs approximately 300 to 450 pounds and possesses a pair of long, straight horns that are always pointed forward when necessary. A prolonged pause at the edge of the group alters the distance, thus gradually revealing an easily accessible position. Once this position becomes clear, the lion, already waiting, to approach in short strides. It pauses repeatedly to avoid detection, then shifts to a direct approach when close enough, forcing the oryx to turn its head, thereby narrowing the space ahead and restricting its path. When the distance is reduced to a dangerous level, the oryx maintains its position and extends its horns forward. The lion cannot advance without a direct confrontation, so after several unsuccessful attempts, it slows down and retreats. From there, the distance widened again, and the situation ended when the lion stopped chasing. In the water-rich grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, buffalo herds maintain dense formations to support each other. A mature male can weigh over 500 pounds and possesses curved horns that provide powerful thrust when reacting. A point in the formation is held back, reducing the support distance, and this spacing gradually opens up the risk of being approached. At this point, a group of lions in formations to support each other. Multiple directions. They don't charge immediately, but tighten the buffalo to constantly change direction. The prolonged pressure slows the target's reaction. Tighten this pressure is maintained in stages. When the pressure reaches a breaking point, another buffalo charges from behind. Next, the entire herd turns and advances into the area at high speed. The collective thrust and unified direction of movement dislodge the lions. The risk of a head-on collision forces them to separate, thereby quickly freeing up the target. As soon as distance is re-established, the buffalo herd maintains formation and continues moving, thereby quickly restoring a stable rhythm. Then, the lions leave the area and cease their approach, completely ending the pressure. The outcome is achieved when the collective response is sustained long enough to disrupt the entire approach process. In the vast savannas of Africa, giraffes maintain distance and keep their heads high to observe from afar. A mature individual can be over 15 feet tall and weigh over 2,500 pounds, with powerful front legs capable of reacting quickly when approached. When separated from the herd's movement, this distance decreases, and the risk of being tracked begins to emerge. While that distance is gradually shortening, a pride of lions adjusts its position and begins a pursuit in an open direction. They don't approach all at once, but maintain distance and accelerate in bursts, forcing the giraffe to constantly change direction. When a lioness leaps to get close to the giraffe's neck, the distance is narrowed in an instant. At that moment, the reaction is immediate. The giraffe regains its balance and delivers a front kick in the direction of the approach. The thrust caused the lions to lose momentum and retreat, instantly opening up a gap and interrupting the pursuit. Once the distance was maintained, the giraffe continued moving and left the area. The lion Pride then stopped and did not pursue further. The outcome was that the timely reaction negated the initial advantage of approaching the giraffe. Through each encounter, the common thread lies not in strength, but in who can maintain their pace and distance longer in the decisive moment. These failures show that even lions must stop when the prey's reaction is timely and strong enough to deflect their approach. And on that savanna, the outcome doesn't belong to the one who attacks first, but to the one who stands firm last.